If you've been watching 90 Day Fiance, before the 90 days, you already know that every couple has something that tests their relationship. Sometimes it's distance. Sometimes it's family. Sometimes it's money. But in Stig and Aviva's case, the big question fans are asking is about music. More specifically, is Stig's music career too much for Aviva to handle? At first glance, it might seem like it could be a problem. The entertainment industry can be unpredictable. Musicians often have irregular schedules. They perform late at night. They travel. They meet new people constantly. For someone in a serious relationship, that lifestyle can feel overwhelming. But when we really look at Stig and Aviva's dynamic, it might not be as dramatic as it sounds. Stig comes across as passionate about music. It's not just a hobby for him, it's part of his identity. He talks about performing with pride. He lights up when he discusses his creative process. For him, music isn't just about fame or money. It's about expression. That's important because there's a big difference between someone chasing attention and someone chasing a dream. Aviva, on the other hand, seems grounded. She asks practical questions. She thinks about stability. She wants to understand what the future looks like. And when it comes to relationships on before the 90 days, practical thinking is necessary. Many fans assumed there would be conflict between them over Stig's career. After all, we've seen this storyline before in the 90-day universe. When one partner works in entertainment or nightlife, jealousy and trust issues often follow. But so far, Aviva doesn't appear threatened by Stig's passion. Instead, she seems curious. She wants to know how serious he is. She wants to know if music can provide stability. She wants to understand where she fits into that world. Those are reasonable concerns. Being in a relationship with a musician can require flexibility. There might be late rehearsals. There might be gigs in different cities. There might be female fans showing interest. For some people, that would immediately trigger insecurity. But Aviva doesn't immediately jump to worst-case scenarios. She listens. She observes. She evaluates. That tells us something important about her personality. She seems emotionally mature enough to separate fantasy from reality. Just because someone is a musician doesn't automatically mean they're unfaithful or irresponsible. It depends on the individual. And from what viewers have seen, Stig doesn't come across as reckless. Yes, he enjoys performing. Yes, he likes being on stage. But there's no clear sign that he prioritizes attention over his relationship. In fact, he often speaks about wanting Aviva to support him and be part of his journey. That inclusion matters. When someone hides parts of their career, it creates distance. But Stig seems open. He talks about his goals. He shares his struggles. He doesn't pretend it's easy. Another factor to consider is ambition. Ambition can actually strengthen a relationship if both partners respect it. Aviva may see Stig's dedication as attractive rather than intimidating. It shows drive. It shows purpose. And purpose is powerful. Relationships tend to struggle more when one partner lacks direction. At least Stig knows what he wants to pursue. Of course, the reality of a music career isn't always glamorous. It can involve financial instability, uncertain income, rejection, long hours. That's where Aviva's practicality comes in. She may not be worried about groupies. She may be worried about long-term planning. Can they build a future? Can they live comfortably? Can they manage distance if tours happen? Those are deeper questions than simple jealousy. On the show, we see moments where Aviva asks Stig about backup plans. That doesn't mean she doesn't believe in him. It means she's thinking ahead. That's not negativity, that's responsibility. Stig, in response, doesn't seem offended. He explains his goals calmly. He acknowledges the challenges. He doesn't dismiss her concerns. That kind of communication is a good sign. In many before the 90 days storylines, conflict explodes quickly. But with Stig and Aviva, the conversations feel measured. Another thing to remember is that music careers exist on a spectrum. Not every musician is a global superstar constantly on tour. Some perform locally. Some balance other jobs. Some build gradually. If Stig's career is still growing, Aviva may not feel overwhelmed because it hasn't drastically changed their lifestyle yet. Also, personality plays a huge role. If Aviva were extremely jealous or insecure, the situation might feel different. But she appears thoughtful rather than reactive. She asks questions instead of making accusations. That's a strong foundation. Fans sometimes assume that any partner of a musician will struggle, but that's not always true. Plenty of couples make it work, especially when boundaries are clear. And boundaries are key. If Stig communicates openly about where he is, who he's with, and what his schedule looks like, Aviva has less reason to worry. Transparency builds comfort. Another point worth mentioning is identity. For Stig, music is part of who he is. Asking him to give that up would likely create resentment. But Aviva doesn't seem to be asking him to quit. She seems to be asking how it fits into their shared future. That's a healthier approach. Instead of trying to change him, she's trying to understand him. And that's why his music career probably isn't too much for her to handle. The real test will come with time. If his career grows, will their relationship adapt? If travel increases, will trust stay strong? If financial pressure builds, will they support each other? Those are the challenges that matter more than stage lights. For now, the dynamic suggests balance rather than chaos. Stig has passion. Aviva has practicality. Together, that can actually work well. In many ways, they complement each other. He brings creativity. She brings stability. He brings energy. She brings focus. That combination can either clash or create harmony. So far, it leans toward harmony. Of course, this is the 90-day universe. Unexpected twists are always possible. But based on what viewers have seen, Stig's music career doesn't seem like a deal breaker for Aviva. It seems like something she's willing to navigate, as long as honesty and respect stay in place. And in any relationship, that's what truly matters. Not the career, not the spotlight, not the late nights, but whether two people can trust each other while chasing their dreams. If Stig continues to communicate openly and Aviva continues to approach things calmly, his music career might not be a burden at all. It might simply be another chapter in their love story that, as their story unfolds, the balance between Stig's music career and his relationship with Aviva becomes increasingly interesting to watch. On 90 Day Fiance, before the 90 days, fans have already seen couples struggle with challenges like distance, career demands, and lifestyle differences. But Stig and Aviva offer a slightly different dynamic because his career isn't just a job, it's his passion, and that passion can affect the relationship in subtle ways. One of the key strengths of their relationship is communication. Aviva doesn't react impulsively to Stig's late-night performances or interactions with fans. Instead, she asks questions, seeks clarity, and tries to understand how music fits into their shared life. That's critical because it shows she's not threatened by him being ambitious. She just wants to be involved and informed. For Stig, that level of openness is crucial too. Musicians often have unpredictable schedules. Gigs may come up at the last minute, and networking opportunities can happen at odd hours. If he wasn't willing to communicate and involve Aviva, tension could build quickly. But he seems willing to explain his career, his goals, and how it impacts their relationship. That transparency reduces misunderstandings and builds trust, which is one of the hardest things to maintain in a cross-cultural, long-distance romance like theirs. Another factor that makes this relationship unique is Aviva's adaptability. She seems willing to embrace parts of Stig's life that might intimidate others. Some people might see a partner performing on stage with other fans watching as a threat, but Aviva doesn't. She observes and supports. She's pragmatic, which balances Stig's creative and expressive personality. That combination is rare on Before the 90 Days, where mismatched expectations often lead to fights. Fans are also interested in how Stig handles criticism or pressure related to his music career. Musicians can face rejection, long hours, and financial instability, and these pressures often spill over into personal relationships. Stig has shown that he can discuss these challenges with Aviva, sharing both his ambitions and his concerns. When a partner is willing to be vulnerable, it creates a stronger bond. It also allows Aviva to provide guidance, support, and perspective without overstepping boundaries. Financial planning is another area where Stig's career could affect the relationship, but so far, it doesn't appear to be a problem. Many people assume that artistic careers are unstable and stressful for relationships, but Aviva's approach shows that planning and communication are more important than the specific career. She asks questions about finances and logistics, not because she doubts him, but because she wants to ensure that their shared future is secure. That's a healthy approach, and it suggests she's prepared to handle whatever challenges arise. Another positive sign is how they manage time together. On the show, they spend time discussing Stig's career and planning their future, balancing romance with practicality. Some couples on Before the 90 Days let career or personal ambitions dominate their relationship, creating resentment. But Stig and Aviva seem to find a balance. They enjoy each other's company, discuss long-term plans, and make space for both work and love. Fans also notice that Stig doesn't seem defensive about Aviva's questions. That's important. If he were defensive, it could create tension and make her feel insecure. Instead, he answers honestly and calmly, which allows both of them to approach the relationship from a place of trust rather than suspicion. That dynamic reduces conflict and allows their bond to strengthen over time. It's worth noting that Stig's music career isn't necessarily a high-profile, non-stop travel lifestyle, at least not yet. Many musicians on Before the 90 Days have careers that are still growing, which gives their partners time to adapt. If Stig's career expands dramatically, Aviva may need to reassess how much she can handle. But for now, the gradual growth of his music seems manageable, giving them time to build trust and routines that work for both. Their story also highlights the importance of shared goals. While Stig is passionate about music, he's also invested in the relationship. Aviva values stability and emotional security, but she doesn't ask Stig to give up his dreams. This mutual respect creates a strong foundation. Couples often fail on Before the 90 Days when one person feels pressured to change for the other. Stig and Aviva seem to understand that compromise doesn't mean sacrificing identity. It means supporting each other while pursuing personal goals. Fans are also drawn to Stig's authenticity. He doesn't pretend to be someone he's not, and he doesn't hide his passion. In reality TV, where relationships are often exaggerated for drama, Stig's honesty is refreshing. Aviva seems to appreciate that, which strengthens their connection. She isn't intimidated by his ambition. She sees it as a part of him she can embrace rather than resist. Another factor that could influence their relationship is lifestyle differences. Musicians often meet new people and experience situations outside the norm, which can test a partner's patience and trust. But Aviva seems confident in her ability to navigate these differences. Instead of controlling him or reacting negatively, she focuses on communication and understanding. That maturity is essential for long-term success, especially in a high-pressure, highly publicized relationship. The support system around them also matters. Reality TV couples are constantly in the spotlight, which can amplify stress and insecurities. If they both trust each other and maintain clear boundaries, the public scrutiny becomes less of a threat. Stig's music career might attract attention, but with Aviva's level-headed approach, it doesn't have to create drama. In addition, Stig and Aviva demonstrate how shared values can outweigh lifestyle challenges. Both value honesty, commitment, and planning for the future. These shared values give them a solid base to navigate Stig's career, the public eye, and long-distance issues. On Before the 90 Days, couples with shared values often succeed despite external pressures, while mismatched priorities often lead to conflict. It's also worth mentioning that Aviva doesn't seem threatened by competition or attention. In music careers, performers often interact with many people who admire them. Some partners might feel jealous or insecure, but Aviva seems secure enough in her relationship to let Stig pursue his passion without worry. That kind of confidence is rare and valuable in reality TV relationships. Ultimately, the story of Stig and Aviva suggests that a partner's career, no matter how unconventional, doesn't have to be a deal breaker. The key is communication, trust, shared values, and mutual respect. As long as they maintain those principles, Stig's music career likely won't overwhelm their relationship. Instead, it can become a source of shared pride and excitement. Fans will continue watching to see how the relationship evolves as Stig's career grows. Will they face challenges when he travels for performances or gains more recognition? Possibly. But their strong communication and balanced dynamic make it more likely that they can navigate these challenges together. Stig's music career might be unconventional, but for Aviva, it doesn't seem too much to handle. She approaches the situation with understanding, practicality, and trust, while Stig brings openness, ambition, and honesty. Together, they show that love and careers don't have to compete. They can complement each other if both partners are committed to making it work. In the end, Stig and Aviva's relationship is a reminder that love on before the 90 days isn't just about overcoming distance or family drama. It's about embracing each other's passions, supporting individual dreams, and building a future together. With trust, respect, and clear communication, Stig's music career may not only be manageable, it could strengthen the bond between them and create a partnership that lasts beyond the show. As the story between Stig and Aviva continues to unfold, one thing becomes clear. Their relationship isn't defined solely by drama, fights, or misunderstandings, which is often what makes couples on 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days so compelling. Instead, Stig and Aviva's dynamic revolves around balance, compromise, and mutual respect. As Stig's music career adds a layer of complexity, but it also offers an opportunity for the couple to grow together in ways that other 90-day couples rarely experience. Fans have noted that what makes Aviva stand out is her patience. She doesn't react impulsively to situations that could cause conflict. For example, if Stig has to leave for a late-night gig, she doesn't immediately assume the worst. Instead, she takes the time to understand the situation and the reasons behind his choices. That kind of emotional intelligence is essential in long-distance or high-pressure relationships. For Stig, having a partner like Aviva is equally important. Many musicians face stress and uncertainty, whether it's about performance quality, audience reception, or financial stability. Having someone who listens, supports, and offers constructive input can make the difference between burnout and motivation. Aviva's grounded personality provides stability that complements Stig's creative energy. She helps him stay focused while allowing him the freedom to pursue his passion. Their interactions also show how communication is more than just talking, it's listening. In several scenes on Before the 90 Days, Aviva asks questions not to challenge Stig, but to understand him better. She wants clarity about his schedule, his goals, and how music fits into their life together. Stig responds by sharing openly, explaining not just what he does, but why it matters to him. This kind of two-way communication fosters trust, which is especially vital in relationships where careers or lifestyles could cause tension. Another positive sign in their relationship is their willingness to discuss boundaries. In many 90-day relationships, tension arises when one partner feels insecure or disconnected from the other's life. But Stig and Aviva seem proactive about defining what's acceptable and what isn't. For instance, they talk about how his interactions with fans might affect their relationship, what level of transparency is expected, and how they will support each other when challenges arise. By establishing clear expectations, they reduce misunderstandings and create a stronger sense of partnership. The couple's story also highlights the importance of shared priorities. While Stig's career is important, Aviva's approach shows that she values stability and future planning without undermining his ambitions. She doesn't ask him to give up performing or compromise his identity. Instead, she seeks ways to integrate his passion into their shared life. This approach is rare in reality TV, where one partner often expects the other to conform entirely to their lifestyle. Stig and Aviva's balance suggests a more sustainable dynamic. Financial considerations also play a role. Music careers, especially early in development, can be unpredictable. Some couples might struggle with uneven income or the uncertainty of freelance work. Aviva's practical mindset means she is thinking ahead. She considers how they can manage finances, plan for emergencies, and maintain a stable home life. At the same time, she trusts Stig to be responsible with his career and earnings. That balance of caution and trust helps prevent unnecessary conflict. One thing that makes their dynamic particularly interesting is how they handle public attention. Musicians often interact with fans and are subject to scrutiny, both in real life and on social media. Many partners might feel jealous or threatened, but Aviva seems confident in her relationship with Stig. She doesn't react with suspicion. She reacts with curiosity and care. That confidence is key in maintaining emotional stability and avoiding drama that can spiral into arguments. Another factor to consider is their mutual respect for individuality. Stig has a strong identity as a musician, and Aviva respects that. She doesn't try to change him, control his schedule, or undermine his choices. Instead, she encourages him to pursue what he loves while also fostering a sense of togetherness. This balance of independence and partnership is what allows